system.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drumming with Tim Connolly. Today we are going to learn lesson number 1, the very basic holding the sticks. Okay? So there's 2 techniques or grips that I teach, and the first one is called match grip. And basically your sticks are lined up in an, looks like an A basically, and you're going to try and strike the very dead center middle of the drum. And the other technique, which your striking area is going to be exactly the same, and it also looks like an A, but this is called traditional grip. And these are the most common grips. This one here is probably only been around since the 60s. This one's been around forever. So we're going to learn these 2 grips. Okay? So the first thing is holding the stick. What I like to do is take this portion of the finger and put the stick right along that portion of the finger and put the thumb right over top of it so that you've got a pivot point and the stick moves very easy. Now as far as pressure goes, you actually want it to be fairly light. You don't want to squeeze it too tight, but then again you don't want to let it too loose because then it'll fly out of your hand and you don't want that. Then the stick sits right across your hand, and about an inch of it is going to come out at the fleshy part of the hand right here. So that basically looks like that. And if you turn over the position, that's what you're aiming for, is that. Because you're looking for the sweet spot, if you want to call it, on the stick where you can get the best bounce off of the drum. Okay? So you find that spot. Then these 3 fingers, very, very important. 3 fingers come around the stick and they're loose. And they're actually going to help move the stick. Okay? And the same thing with the left hand. The left hand is going to do the exact same thing. Now when you strike the drum, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get a good bounce and that you're not digging into the head. Okay? Now of course this is a beginner lesson. There may come a time when you're playing some Brazilian rhythms or Latin rhythms where you in fact do dig into the head. Okay? So, or even in a rock groove for that matter, or a rock fill where you might want to dig into the head. But for today's purposes, we're not going to do that. We're going to learn about the bounce, the opposite of digging in. Okay? So let's just start by getting a good bounce off the drum. Now you'll notice that I'm allowing it to come up on its own. I'm not doing anything. It's doing it by itself. That's the key to developing speed. Because a lot of guys do this and they cut it off. Then they have to pull it up. So that motion of stop, pull, that slows you down. What's better is to get a continuous motion. When I went to a master class, I attended a master class with the great drummer Steve Smith. This is what he talked about. He talked about getting a fluid, smooth motion. Okay? Now, when you get a little bit faster, you'll notice that when the motion is big, it's very circular. All the motions are circular in this. So when you go closer to the drum and it gets a little bit faster, the circles just get smaller. Okay? Now you'll notice that I'm going to use my fingers now. So the bounce becomes used by the fingers more. So now we're using finger technique. Okay? So the first exercise that we're going to do to develop this bounce is just stick control, gray book, George Lawrence Stone, classic book. We're going to do some single strokes. And we're going to try and get that bounce happening. Nice and relaxed. And we're going to do it really slow to emphasize the bounce. As we get a little bit faster, the circles just become a little bit smaller, but they're still there. Same thing as we get faster. that's as fast as we're going to go today, because I really don't, it's not about speed at this point, it's about how you're striking the drum. Okay? So once again, nice and relaxed. Really let that stick, exaggerated motion of course, but really let that stick bounce off the drum. That's the focus in lesson 1. Thank you very much.